Greetings, fellow slingers. Welcome back to Roll the Hard 20 podcast. It is I, your trusted DM, GM, judge, ref, handler, Brian, welcoming you once again to another one of our Dragon's Demands run through. Episode 25. I'm really excited that we're moving through this. And I know that the hard slingers themselves are excited to be close to the end of this blood vow lair. I know that they can feel it. I can feel it. Of course, I have the notes at my discretion, so of course I can feel it too. But you know what? One of the players did something in character form actually this episode, and it is so awesome that I'm not going to give it away. But I tell you what, he really just shocked me, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. But you know what? I'm gonna let you guys listen to it. Remember, if you like this show, then please write in at rollthehard20podcast@gmail.com. Let me know how you're thinking about the show. Don't forget, we're still putting together other ideas for other sessions of different systems that we want to start running for you guys. Please write in. Tell us if there's something that you would like us to run. As long as it has a D20, that's all that matters. If it's got a D20, we want to run it for you. Also, don't forget, follow us on any one of our social media footprints: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit that little bell so you never miss when we drop one of our episodes, because it's still weekly, baby. It's still weekly, and we're coming at you live. Let's see, what else? Don't forget our Patreon at patreon.com/rollthehard20 podcast. For as little as $1, you too can help us keep the lights on. I know right now it seems a little bright because I have the window open. Who would think that just last intro it was thundering and lightning and it was so loud and just wow. I mean, it shocked me too. All that being said, I'm just glad to have each and every one of you out there listening to the show. It really does mean a lot. I know that as we've been going on, we see our subscribers bumping up, we see our listenership bumping up, and I hope everyone out there is enjoying it just as much as we are enjoying running it. Believe me when I tell you that we do it for you guys as well. We want to put out the funny for you, and we want to put out the adventures for you. So I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Warm up your dice and top off your glass as Roll the Hard 20 podcast presents episode 25 of our Dragon's Demand run through. Keeping the faith. If it seems like I've been lost, and let's remember. Anyways, enjoy everybody.
We would get up at 6 a.m. because we had players that were on the East Coast. And we would start at 6 a.m. my local time, and we would run for 8 hours.
So basically, like, your mom would have to bring in a porta potty and a change of clothes and beer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was hardcore back then. That game was super hardcore.
Yeah.
Your corpse runs could take hours to get your corpse.
Yeah.
Yeah. You mean to go back and find your body kind of thing, or what?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Like I played a barbarian, which was, it would take 2.5 hours of real game time to get to the human harbor called Freeport. And often as soon as you logged or zoned into the Freeport region, sometimes a griffin would be right there and kill you. You were almost there.
Oh.
So you'd have to naked run all the way back 2.5 hours.
Naked run.
I played a druid. I was like, after a certain point, I was like, fuck that shit, I'm teleporting.
Yeah, it was tough, man. It was very hardcore back then.
Yep.
High pass hold, trying to get past the giants.
Oh my god. Did you ever see the druids, druids leveling on killing the bards?
Oh yeah. I can't even remember I think it was Riverdale. We used to go and hunt all the gnomes. We used to, all the gnome guards. We used to kite them around the front of Riverdale.
Oh my god. The old days.
All right. Well, how are all you guys doing this fine evening?
Doing well.
Doing great.
It's afternoon. Good.
What time is it?
Right? Get your time right, Brian.
Yeah. It's 2:00.
It's 5 o'clock here.
Very
By the way,
still.
it's been raining so hard. I was telling Chris just a few moments ago that I had just finished the edit for last week's session. And
Oh,
so when I
shit.
was doing the intro, like if you guys watch it, you'll see like this big blast of light and then just this thunder just so I don't know if we're gonna have any Foley sound effects going on here or not, but
Yeah. We had that
Yeah.
weather a couple days ago. Just thunder and lightning randomly.
out there,
Oh,
really.
Fucking
Oh
nuts,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. My best friend lives in Anaheim, and him like apparently there at some point it was like over his house, and him and his mother own a condo together, and they were just like looking up like, oh, we're totally going to die. This whole building is gonna collapse on us. Anyways,
You never get thunder and lightning in SoCal.
It was
Have
pretty
it
gnarly.
now. Are we ready to do some nerding out here with this Dragons Demand run through, or what are we doing?
Oh yeah.
I'm ready to deal with these damn kobolds.
Hell
Yep,
yeah, you are.
monster killed.
Well, greetings, fellow slingers. Welcome back to Roll the Hard 20 podcast. It is I, your trusted GM, Brian, and with me, the Hard Slingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, whatever. We got to get something out there because my bowels failed their constitution check last week, and we are behind the 8 ball. So you guys basically took care of those pesky kobolds and their pet snapping turtles. You guys found yourselves an armory where, Sirkin, you managed to procure a +1 cold iron master sword, right? Masterworks longsword.
Yes.
You guys have one place to go, one direction left. You guys know when you go back into that room with the big pool in the middle that there was only one exit out. The other one looked like an avalanche had crushed down and basically blocked any further progress that way. The only exit is to the south, otherwise back the way you came, which is always an option if you guys want to puss out.
Oh, meow.
Those turtles. Actually, Flint wanted to grab a crossbow. Well, maybe as a souvenir later, but he
Yeah,
wanted to grab
okay.
one of the crossbows at the armory before we left.
We
Okay,
can
just so
make
you
it
know,
a
there were no
shield.
crossbows.
No? Oh, okay.
No, there were 2 bows, 4 slings, 12 spears, a bunch of sling bullets, 3 suits of leather armor, 3 wooden shields, 1 long iron sword, and a partridge in a pear tree,
All right.
Any short bows?
which is dead. No.
No short
Well,
bows.
no, they were just straight up short bows. I would imagine that's what they were. It just says 2 bows. It didn't say
All right.
long bows or not. So
I'll grab a short bow.
Can I do an Arcana check and see if one of the short bows is magical?
sure. You know what though? You don't even have to waste your time because Warren already did something like that last week. And the only thing that kind of gave off something was that sword.
Oh, okay.
So I wouldn't want you to waste any of your time doing
Okay, I didn't remember that. Okay.
that. You know why? Because I didn't post the episode yet. Refer back to the last 3 minutes. Tell you why.
Anyways, well, we've only got one way to go. Let's get this over with.
We're going
right.
south.
You're gonna go south.
Yep.
Wasn't that if we look at where we were on the map, we had that room with the pool, and the armory was in there we go.
There you go.
Southeast corner.
That's where you guys are right now. Is the southeast corner.
Okay.
Okay.
And we can go either south or west. We have 2 options.
West only allowed you to go so far before you ran into all the cave in. That's where you were you were
Okay.
constantly cowering from, Stubby, when you were firing from a distance and hiding, and where Flint decided he was going to heal himself like 8 charges out of that wand, while poor Sirkin just got like a half a peso of HP.
Okay, south it is. I'll take front to look for traps.
Okay.
I'll follow
Can you
behind.
see?
Well, let me explain. So you see that this particular passageway goes down about 10 feet. This is what you're seeing from the opening. And then you see it opens wider. Like the passageway itself is 5 feet. It goes down about 10 feet and then it opens off to the west, which is to your right, but you can't really see where it is what it opens onto. You do notice that further in against the far south wall, perhaps another 25 feet away from you, there appears to be another exit that goes that way. So like if you're coming from the northern part of a room, there's a 10-foot hallway. Then it gets wider to your right, but you can see opposite you another way to keep going.
Okay.
All right, what's our marching order? I'm first. Flint's behind
Flint
me.
second. Yeah.
Well, let's put this up here.
Warren, do you want to be in the middle or in the back?
I'll be in the middle.
Okay.
Okay. Now this has nothing to do
Of
with
course.
with initiative. I just need to be able to see who's going in because I want to go by
Yep.
your guys' marching order by what you
There's,
see.
of course, also Nightcale and
Yeah, he's on there too. Thank you for reminding
Hack
me that.
fucking bailed out.
Yeah.
He's like, peace.
Axe no more.
Oh, did I?
He will stay behind Sirkin because that's where he wants to be. He wants to keep an eye on Sirkin in case he falls and he has to heal him again.
Yeah,
You know,
fair enough.
Stubbing your toe, you do 1d2 pounds. Hold on a second. I am back. Sorry,
Okay.
forgot something very important. My dice.
Oh yes.
Oh no.
I'm telling you, man, it's been a rough week. I even got different dice for you guys last Wednesday too, and I couldn't bring it. I fumbled myself. So,
Wow.
Stubby, do you want to continue going deeper?
I do. Like to go deeper into that room.
Okay, it's not quite dark, I should say, but it's darker than low light.
I would like to search for traps along the entrance before we get too far in. Stebby realizes that with this low light, he may not be the best to go in first position.
Okay.
But where I'm at right now, I'd like to at least search for traps at the entrance, and then, mention to Flint, "Hey, this probably wasn't a good idea that I was up front. I forgot about the low light."
It's all right, buddy.
Okay, so I'm going to do a Dex for trap. Is it Dex? Yeah, Dex.
Well, if you're looking for them, typically it's an investigation roll.
Is it an investigate? Okay, investigation check. Yep. All right, so investigation check, roll 13.
From what you can tell, you don't seem to find any traps. You're pretty confident that you could keep on walking.
Within that first 5 or 10 feet, or
I'm assuming that's where you checked was within
the
within
first
that
5 or 10
entryway,
feet.
yeah.
Okay. So I exchange position with Flint and say, "Sorry, buddy, you're the meat shield." But at least for the
Shove.
first 10 feet, it doesn't look like we've got any traps to worry about.
All right. I'll try to do my best. Flint wants to make a perception check to see if there's any other traps that he can sense, or do you want investigation?
Investigation.
Investigation.
I will also see if there's anything that I notice.
It's a
That I can
16.
see perfectly.
You can.
That is a 21.
21.
Nice.
Both of you are very confident that this particular hallway has no traps in there whatsoever.
All right. Flint will continue marching forward.
Okay, Flynn, as you begin to enter into this entry of this 10 feet wide, you notice that, I'm sorry, it's 5 feet wide. As you go down about 10 feet, you notice that the room seems to widen out to about 10 feet to your right for a distance of another 15 feet. You see a single small pallet that's just heaped with furs and has been pushed against the southern jagged wall right next to the only other exit out of this little cave. and laying on top of it, you can just make out an aged kobold. He's covered in dull green scales, and his closed eyelids begin to flutter and open as he hears you come into the room. And even from this distance, you could see that he, in these sockets, are just these milky white orbs. His head kind of cranes a little to the side, and in this raspy voice, he calls out to you in common. I can tell by your scent that you're strangers here. If my nose tells the truth, you bring the destruction I foretold. That is a good thing. I had hoped to see its ruin before my journey to the other world, but I will settle for listening to it.
What destruction would that be?
Come closer. I smell a sense of faith upon you. Closer to me.
I'll head out closer towards it, but still maintaining distance, like at least 15 feet away from this guy.
Okay, so that basically puts you against the eastern wall,
Okay.
as he's still against the southwestern corner.
And it's still, did you say dim lighting or regular light?
No,
in
it's
this area?
way low light in here.
Okay,
It's
way low light? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's a there's not an actual mechanic for way low light, but
Way low light.
you should be able to see him. He's the destruction of the Blood Vow tribe, of course. Please sit and have a spell with me.
At that time, can I see how this guy's, is he chained to anything, or he's just
sitting on top of this pallet. There's these old nappy, ratty looking furs, probably skinned off some mangy goat or something, and he's just kind of heaped on top of it. Doesn't look like he's going anywhere, has been anywhere anytime lately.
I'll kind of look at Nighttail questioningly and just kind of quietly, so that hopefully only he hears, do you know this one?
Now, I've never been down this far, but I had heard that there was once a priest that used to advise rogue has. It's possible this could be that priest.
Curious. And I'll step forward and look at the older kobold and say, you've foretold the destruction of this tribe. And
That is true. I would advise rogue has several times that getting caught up with the Teparax was a mistake.
so a Teparax is alive?
He seemed to think so. He became infatuated with the name. I, of course, had never seen the Teparax. Then again, I had never seen Rogas. I can't remember the last time I had seen myself naked.
Ew.
'Tis a pity. Please, sit with me a moment. Ease my passing.
Can I make an insight check on this guy, see if he's telling the truth?
In what regard?
If he's actually against Rojas and trying to overrule them, the destruction of the organization.
Yeah, he was trying to advise Rogas not to be involved with it. If that's what you made the insight on.
Yeah,
Okay.
22.
Yeah, you seem fairly confident that what he is telling you is honest.
Okay.
So
Or that he
What-
believes what he is telling you is honest.
there's always that.
Well, there's that there.
So I'll kind of sit cross-legged against like a wall where I can easily see both entrances. Maybe like 10 feet away from him.
Okay.
Mm.
So you basically get like 10 feet away from him, kind of squat down so you could look at him, but you're looking directly at him as well. You're like directly in front of him. Okay.
Right. And I'll tell him, so what was the nature of this destruction and why, and did it, Rogue House give you any reasons why he was not following your advice?
My name is Jakol. I still am the priest of the infernal Duke Vapula, having been cast aside by Roghaz when I advised him that our tribe should stay the course. We should not meddle in the human affairs or any other nefarious affairs such as this Ateparax that he had supposedly had been in contact with, something to do with a human wizard named Hunkley.
From behind you, you hear Nighttail say, "That sounds about right what I had once said to Roghaz myself."
So
Jockole does not hear this.
So, Hunkley is the one that links the tribe to a Teparax, not Roghas.
Are you asking him or asking me?
I'm verbally stating it, so maybe less directly to him and more like Warren's trying to put the pieces together.
He kind of scampers off his pallet with like lightning speed, surprisingly, and just stops about 5 feet from you, and craning his head, he's like,
"No, Roghaz had met, so he says, with the Teparax. And the Teparax wanted him to do something for him. Something to do with that wizard. The wizard was not a middleman. He was a means to an end. I sense one among you, though, who walks by the light of their faith. Who among you does so?"
I kind of imagine all of us are like away from
disappear.
Flint.
he looks
That would be me.
he kind of cranes his head towards you as all the wind sucks away from you and you're left in this vacuum void with your allies having parted away from you.
"I advise you to beware the scaly beast, strangers. He seems to speak reason, but his words are poison. And his bats, the ones he calls forth from the darkness, they are harbingers of lunacy and chaos. This dread lord, Ateparax, will surely be your doom, as it has been ours, as is proof by his conversion of our tribe."
He looks at you, Flint, or you can only imagine he's all,
"Take heed, brethren. Beware."
and he actually collapses right in front of you.
He tries
And
to catch
Yeah,
him.
he basically just expires. Ari's dead. No. And you see his hand opens up almost as though gesturing in front of you. And you see it's in his hand is like a small box with a leather cord wrapped around it, roughly like 1 inch by 1 inch by 2 inches. Almost as though with his dying gesture, he was trying to hand it towards you personally.
Flint will try to carefully remove the box from him and hide it away.
So
I mean,
nobody
I
else
would
sees
assume
it or
that
what?
so no one else sees it. I would
I know
assume
Stabby
probably-
didn't see it.
I know maybe Warren might have seen it, but I try to conceal it as best
Okay,
as
well,
I
make
can.
Warren, do you want to make an inspection or an investigation
mean-
or anything, or do you want to just say you saw it and ignore it? What do you want to do about that?
I mean, if Flint is being at all sneaky, I would suspect it would be a perception versus a sleight of hand.
Yeah, make your perception check. And if you wanted to do that, Flint, you'd have to make your sleight of hand in your check.
Okay.
I mean, you don't have to make it out by a whole lot. I only got an 8.
All right. My sleight of hand's not that great, but I rolled pretty decent. That's a 12.
So basically,
So
you snaggle this thing without Warren seeing. Sirkin, did you want to see any of that to any degree?
I think Sirkin's a little too far away to see that. He was kind of still at the entrance where we came in.
Okay.
Kind of just watching the entire encounter.
And Nighttail is actually kind of being rear guard, making sure that nobody's coming up behind them, making sure there's no other snapping turtles coming out of the water or anything else, because he doesn't know. He's completely unfamiliar with what's going on, down in this lower level at this time.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Flint, why don't you go ahead and make a wisdom check as you snack this box.
Snack the box.
Snack on it.
Is it a
Snack that box.
It was good at first, and then it rolled over. 15.
15. That's actually very well done. As you reached out and snagged this thing, as you're bringing it into your tunic, you're looking down at it briefly, and you notice that this is what's called a phylactery of faithfulness. I'm going to tell you what this does. This item permits the wearer to be aware of any action or item that could adversely affect his alignment and his standing with his deity, including magical effects. He acquires this information prior to performing such an action or becoming associated with such an item. In other words, that way your alignment doesn't change or you're standing with your deity.
Okay.
But you have to take a moment to contemplate the act, meaning that you have to inform me before you use it.
Okay.
In other words, you can't say, "Oh, well, I had this thing," but
Yeah.
if you're going to do something, whatever, you got to tell me that you're going to use it. That's called a
Cool.
phylactery of faithfulness.
actually
when
pretty
you-
awesome?
It's like when you submit coupons for service. They have to be at a time of service.
Yeah.
Only if the
Oh.
coupon's expired, you don't go to hell.
Yeah.
It's a little
Or
different
you
here.
know you're
Yeah.
about to go to hell.
Yeah, you kind of. Oh, well, wait a second. It says this coupon. It might, I might be blocked, so I don't want to use that.
At that point, since he's dead now, he would like to. Flint would actually like to kind of position his body in a respectful way, just like lay it down on the ground, kind of fix him up as much as he could, just kind of give him like a proper send off.
That's really kind of you, Flint. So
Gotta
you
play
lay
the
him
man of
down.
faith. Yeah. Lay him down. I fix him up and say a quick prayer.
While Flint is doing this, Warren will recite in Draconic it like a brief like a verse that is basically honoring of like the dead and such as Flint is laying down this kobold for his.
As he's laying him out and making him presentable for the afterlife, and you begin to recite this. As you come to the final conclusion of it, you just feel this wind kind of hustle through the cavern, kind of buffet your cheeks and your hair, and just sail on out, almost as though his spirit is leaving this cavern in general.
Mm-hmm.
Boy's done a good job.
That's right. And then we loot the body.
Well, in that case, you don't find a gold doubloon on it. You
I'm
fuck.
kidding.
I was gonna say, why don't you two roll off to see who gets the gold doubloon?
Oh, okay. D20
All right.
there. Straight up D20. I got
Got a 9.
I got a 6.
Oh shit.
Flint, you got a gold doubloon. Mark it down right next to those 100
All right.
charges of that healing wand of yours. I never
That's
known
right.
I've never known a wand to like grow in charges. What's that?
I've been keeping track.
Is that D12 healing?
Still got 4 more charges.
So you know
Probably
that
gonna
there,
need them.
right? You guys notice that there is that exit that's still to the south.
Okay. I'll go to the edge of it and just kind of poke my head around, see how far down I can see.
It looks like it goes down to the southeast about 30 feet before it opens onto an area that appears to be lit a little brighter than where they left this dying old kobold. It's possible they left him here in the dark because he was already blind. There's no purpose for him to have any type of illumination, but perhaps they just left him here just to fucking die.
Yeah.
I'll just kind of quietly turn to the others and say it does look like there's at least some light up ahead.
Stubby gets excited.
I can be
He's
of
like, I'm not
use.
gonna be
Finally.
blind.
Quick, Brian, move me back up to the front. Do you want to move back up to the top of the marching order? Or you still want to stay behind Flint?
Put me up at the front for at least for the entrance to this tunnel.
For the first 8 feet, put me at the
Okay.
top, and then after that,
I'll push him in front. I want to search for traps again because we only search for traps within the room, right?
no, you searched at the entrance of coming to the room.
But
Yeah.
but Warren and Flint did perception checks and they were confident that there were no other traps within the room.
Yeah, but nothing leaving the room. If that's what
Nothing
you're-
leaving the
Yeah.
room.
Right.
Yeah, we stopped to see the old Kabul.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's Stubby head southbound towards the egress of the room.
Okay. Did you want to make your investigation in there, or
Yeah,
what
I'll do
was it
an
you wanted to-
investigation at the entrance to the hallway at the southern end.
Okay.
6.
6. You're pretty confident there's nothing going on. Looks good.
With a 6.
Let's go, boys.
I look back at the group and say I don't believe that there's anything ahead of us, but I'm not quite feeling myself today, and I'm not entirely sure that I have seen all potential harm that may lay in front of us.
Melee.
That may.
Funny you should say that.
Speaking of
Make a dex
melee,
save.
Mhm. I wish I could lend you my eyes, Tabby. I know that would be of great assistance to you. But, well, only one way to go now.
southeast.
Mm-hmm.
So, Stubby, are you leading this procession?
Yep, we'll keep going. How far can I see ahead of?
You can see the full 30 feet. It looks like it comes out onto like another room. From
Okay.
what you could tell way back here, it almost looks kind of round. The walls look sort of roundish. Sirkin, why don't you make a perception check?
Okay. Let's see, that will be 14.
14. As you're following Warren, something kind of catches your attention. You look back and you notice that Nighttail is saying a few words over this Jacol, and then he sees you looking at him. He kind of stands up and straightens up his attire and kind of nods. It's like, okay, let's keep going. So he might have been saying something to the dead old kobold.
At that point, I'll say to Nighttail, what were you saying? What were you whispering? Heard.
I was just hoping that his spirit rests easy on the other side of this world. That's all. The old kobold looked as though he had a hell of a life. I'd like to see him do better in the next.
Was kind of you to do.
Well, I never knew him, so he was not my enemy. That's something all you should remember when you're going through this place. Just because you haven't met somebody, it doesn't mean they're your enemy.
Those are wise words.
Thank you. I owe it all to Voodoo Ranger. Little plug there for Voodoo Ranger.
Shameless product placement.
Yeah, right. Shameless plug. So, Stubby, you continue making your way down about 30 feet, and you notice that this tunnel opens you onto a cavern that's ovoid in shape, with a north to south length of 40 feet and 30 feet at its widest center point. You're actually coming out of it at its northwestern portion. You also notice that the floor is completely strewn with straw and bones.
I motion to the rest of the party behind me and call them.
I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Forgot to flip the page. And you could just make out in the southeastern wall another passage.
In the southeast, there's another passage.
There's a passage in the southeast wall.
Okay. I motion the rest of the party forward, and mention we should be cautious moving forward. There are bones and straw among the floor here. Perhaps they were feeding something larger than the kobolds in this cavern.
Looking ahead a little bit, does it look like that? Does it actually smell like more like an animal than maybe the rest of the cave?
Make a history check.
A history?
Yes.
Can do.
Yeah. Do you want Flint to make a history check? Because this
Any
room
one of
seems
you can make a
familiar.
history check.
All right.
16.
16? That would be enough. You guys wouldn't need to make any others. Warren, you remember, it wasn't too long ago. It was probably maybe like 45 minutes ago when you first got into the Blood Vow lair, that at one point you guys did turn a corner and Stubby had noticed that the floor was strewn with straw and bones.
Mm-hmm.
It happened to be the nesting area of several large rats. This is very reminiscent of the same smells and the same disarray of the room.
Okay. I'll try that for a minute. It looked kind of like what it was up in front of the cave. Maybe some rats around. Let's be careful.
Stabby, careful with those poison darts lying around. Make sure we go find those traps. Well, wand of healing. you just
almost fit in one of them.
We don't need those charges.
Yeah.
Let's move carefully and keep an eye out for these rats.
Describe how you want to traverse this room if you're coming out of it, out of the northwestern portion of this ovoid.
Stebby will go along the southwest wall, or the western wall of this room.
Okay. As you begin to move along the western wall, is everybody following him, or are you guys waiting to see what he trips?
Warren, I mean,
If we're not stealthily going through and we're just being cautious, I'll be like 10 feet behind him.
Okay, so you guys are going to space yourselves out by 10 feet then?
probably.
I'm just kind of making
like
the
a good
assumption of
idea.
what you guys are doing here.
Yeah.
Stubby, as you get, what's the length of this thing again? Sorry.
So 40 feet.
40 feet.
I thought, yeah.
As you get to about the 20-foot mark area, you notice that there appears to be a cutout in the western wall before you get to the southwestern exit. From where you were at when you were looking at when you first entered the room, you really couldn't see it because of the way the wall meshed together. But now as you're getting closer, you could see that there's deeper shadows indicating that there's some kind of a cutout that's probably about maybe 7 feet wide or so in the wall.
How tall is it?
Maybe 5 feet, 5.5 feet tall.
5x7 cutout, not enough for a door, but a cutout in the stone.
You can't tell if it's enough for a door, but you don't see a door from where you are.
No,
And Flint see the door from where he's at?
You can't from where you are.
Okay.
Or
You'd have to
Warren.
get closer or make a perception check from where you are.
All right.
Because nobody else is in the room. If everybody's at 10-foot intervals, instead he's at
okay.
20, Flint would be at 10. Everybody else would be at 0 at this point.
Ooh, I don't think I saw anything with an 11.
Okay. Yeah, you didn't see. You can't see what's around Stubby's giant stature of 2 foot 8.
Crouch down.
Have some consideration, man. You're hogging it.
So Stebby is gonna draw his 2 daggers in both of his hands, or dagger in each hand, and cautiously approach that cutout.
Okay.
To see if he hears anything or sees anything that might reveal more of what this cutout is.
It looks like it's a cave. And from what you can tell, it looks like it goes in about 10 feet. And then it gets really dark after that. But you can't see.
I can't see.
All right, Flint.
I'll,
You're gonna have to get that shit worked over, man. You're gonna have to go see Riddick. Get your shit shined.
Flint's gonna move up to where Stabby's at. What's going on?
I can't see. There's clearly a cave here, but I can't see beyond just a few feet. Can you see what is in here?
Who's the next person to move into the room?
well,
And
I
you
think
Because you guys made it down to the 30 feet point then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Is there another person at the 20 and then the 10?
I think Flint moved up with Stabby when Stabby was like, "I'm out."
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were like we said, like 10 feet apart. So
yeah, I'm just trying to see
Stabby,
who covered the distance of the rest of the ways.
Flint.
Yeah, Warren would
Warren.
move up. Would move up a little bit. I think it's Sirkin and then Nighttail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if Warren's in the room, like Warren can see perfectly in darkness. So
Show off.
Without even
you just gotta
trying.
worship. You just gotta worship a supernatural patron. That's all. Or maybe not worship. That's a little strong. You need to have an understanding. But anyways,
stand just fine.
So can I. That I can see in the dark. So what does Warren see?
Well, Flint can see just fine. I'm imagining that Flint. I just wanted to see where everybody else had gone. Flint, you notice that what Stabby's looking at is at about 10 feet into the cave. There appears to be a wooden door that's in a closed position.
Well, Stabby, looks like there's a door right ahead of us. Do you think it's safe to approach, or?
We should investigate. We should see what is beyond this door. I'll move up to Flint's location.
Well, I should be standing next to you.
Well, you moved forward into that door, though, is a few feet in, correct?
It's 10 feet in.
It's 10 feet in, but where we were standing, you couldn't see that far.
Okay.
Well, because it got dark, but the darkness was actually the closed door, but you couldn't see that.
Can I see any part of the door, like hinges or handles or anything?
Not from where you are at the opening. You're too far back and it's too dark in there. But Flint could see it. He could see, as it gets, light gray to a little darker gray, and then finally it's at that point where he could say, "Oh yeah, I could see that the walls are jagged. They go to a door, and then the door is closed."
Okay.
But you can't see it. To you, it just looks like a cave that gets darker as it gets deeper.
Black tunnel.
Yeah.
Okay. I say to Flint, I can't really see very well, but I'm going to light a candle so that I can see this door more clearly. I know it didn't work so well last time, but just be prepared for me to crawl up on your back.
Flint gets his mace and shield ready.
So I'll light a candle so I can see the door, and I'll gently try the handle.
Okay, it is unlocked.
Okay. Flint, the door is unlocked. Can you let the rest of the party know so they can come forward? It's not smart for me to lead the party into this darkness. We need somebody with better vision.
I imagine Warren would be like at the opening of it, and he's like signaling to,
Yeah.
come forward.
Motion Nighttail, Sirkin, and Hack, if Hack is still there, to move up a little bit.
Yeah, Circle will join up with the rest of the group.
As will Nighttail. So you open the door. Is that what you did, Stubby?
Yeah, I swung the door. Does it swing left or right?
Swings to the right.
Okay.
Swings in and to the right.
I
And
swing
you're
it.
immediately buffeted by this nauseating smell of piss and shit and just all these other horrible smells that just move past you and all the guys in the hallway. And I need everybody to make a con save.
Oh.
Including my boy
All right, that's decent.
Stubby.
I rolled a 1. However, I have halfling luck, so I get to re-roll. A 9.
9. Warren.
Warren is losing anything that might have been in his stomach with a natural 1 because I don't have halfling luck.
Oh,
Are you carrying a weapon, by the way?
Warren?
Yes.
He doesn't have one in his hand, but
Okay,
Warren
then
does
that-
carry a dagger.
That's all I need to know.
he
is if
is
he
a
has
weapon.
That's right.
If I
Circuit.
kill you,
Weapon.
manslaughter.
Circuit, what'd you get?
Cobalt slaughter.
18.
18. Just so you know, Nighttail got an 18 as well. Flint, what did you get?
21.
21. Stubby, both you and Warren are nauseated until you make a con save and pass it to where all you can do is one action. You can't cast spells. You can't attack. You can't use any concentration on spells or do anything else that requires attention. You have one move action per turn.
Okay.
That is incorporated from the Pathfinder rules, which we are slowly starting to incorporate because it's integral to the Dragon's Demand run through.
So we can only move.
You can only move until you make a con save and pass it.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Yeah, so every round, every time your turn comes up, you need to make a con save to eliminate that. I also need for you to make a dex save, Stubby. Because you're holding a candle.
13.
13. You retain the candle, which is a good thing. Let's roll some initiative as you see these large rats begin to move out of their lair and move directly towards the 5 of you.
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh,
Why didn't we see
Pretty
this coming?
Warren, what'd you get?
I got a 17.
17. Stubby.
18.
Sirkin.
6.
Flint.
13.
13. Give me half a moment to put this together. 17. Nighttail immediately sees these things start moving. He pulls out his spear, but from where he's at, he's going to hold his action at the mouth of this cave. Stubby, you are right at the front door. Need you to make a con save. You need to move first and then make the con save at the end of your turn.
I'm gonna move back into the room.
Okay.
The 40 by 40 room,
Okay. 40 by 30.
or 40 by 30.
I think it's 40 by 30. Yeah.
Um,
Minutia.
I'll move. Yeah, it's important though when we play Pathfinder. Movement is very important.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll move kind of like to the middle of that room.
Okay.
Okay, and then con save
Yes.
11.
You still remain in this state. Warren, I need for you to move and do the same.
I'm also going to move back away from wherever these rats are coming from to a safer spot, and then I will continue to retch my guts out. So I imagine I'm probably following Stabby pretty close.
Okay.
That comes out to a 14. for
You
the
feel
con
this
save.
this breath of fresh air, just all this stench of urine and feces and everything begins to leave your lungs, and you start to regain your composure at this point. From inside the hallway, you see these 3 rats come out. They have 3 targets in front of them. Sorry, because Nighttail is there as well. The first one will go for. We'll just go down the line. We'll go 1 for Flint, 1 for Sirkin, and 1 for Nighttail. 1 for Flint, miss. 1 for Sirkin, miss. And as the other one moves up to get Nighttail, he immediately attacks it in a power stance with his spear, which is going to be at a negative, by the way, to hit. If I can find it. There it is, -2. 16, that will hit. So it gives him a +6 bonus on his attack for 8 points of damage.
Go Nighttail.
Then it attacks Nighttail and misses. Flint, you see this rat come up to you, just gnashing of teeth, ready to take you out.
I was hoping they were still behind the door. I was hoping to shut the door.
No, they came barreling out as soon as Stubby swung this fucker wide. They're like, yeah, food, yeah.
All right, at that point, since Flint has his mace and shield out, he is going to try to attack the closest rat.
Okay.
Oops.
I think Flint might be a little gamey for them.
Yeah, that is going to be a non-natural 20.
Oh, that'll hit. Give me some damage.
All right. For 3 points of damage.
That's it?
So light damage. Yeah, I rolled really shitty.
Oh, boy, that's horrible.
Yeah, I rolled a 2.
Sirkin. That's all you have is a +1 on that attack?
+1, yeah.
Wait, shit. You suck. Sirkin,
Yes.
you see this large rat as well come up to you. Its teeth and claws trying to get at you. Misses you once. Riposte, please.
Okay, at that point, I'm going to try to pull out my magically tuned longsword, and I'm going to try to attack that rat right in front of me. And is it +1 to the roll or to the attack?
That's the same thing. Just +1 to the attack, not to the damage.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. So 19.
That'll gonna hit, babe.
All right. Let's see. You.
It's a D8.
Or-
You should know what a longsword does.
Yeah, it's D8. So 5 points of damage.
That's a jab at Ryan because I fucked up last week because I was so spaced out. I'll tell you what, man, when you guys get me in an hour when I can actually function, I can function. When we usually record it, it's like the ass end of the day for me. I think even all the gargoyles have left by that time.
Sure.
Nighttail attempts to attack the same one that just tried to attack him just a few moments ago. And that will miss. Oh, no, it doesn't because he's still doing the power stance. That'll actually hit. Sorry. For 9 points of damage. You see him just crank down and spear this rat right to the ground. Just, take him. You gonna take it there, ratty boy. Stabby. I think you still need to make another con save. Unless you want to move or stay there, whatever you want to do.
I'll con save where I'm at.
Okay.
12.
No.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Stubby. Make another dex save.
9.
9. You drop the candle into the straw.
Oh no.
Oh no is right. This immediately starts a flame, which is going to be a problem in the next round. Warren, from where you are right next to Stubby, you watch him drop this candle into the straw.
Does the fire that sprouts up from this candle in the straw, is it contained within a 5-foot cube?
Right now it is. In the
Awesome.
5-foot cube that he is in.
Warren gestures over to the flame, flicks a finger, and the flame goes out.
God damn it, that's so
nice.
awesome. That is awesome. That is fucking awesome. Dude, that is amazing.
Thank you, Warren. Thank you.
Oh my god, that is, I've never seen such a great use of a spell. That is beautiful.
Dude, I was about to
Cantrip.
be roast halfling.
That is
Dude.
awesome.
Dude, cantrips are your friends.
Ooh.
The two rats, one of them on Flint, one of them on Sirkin. Flint, you're up first. That is going to miss. Sirkin, that's going to miss as well. Jeez.
All right.
Flint, what do you want to do with this stupid rat who's probably failed his own con save and gets his own piss?
Still gonna whack away. And probably miss with a 6.
That is going to miss. Sirkin, did you want to move or you want to stay there?
I'm gonna stay there for right now.
Okay.
Okay, Sirkin will dodge that attack from that rat and try to attack him again with the longsword. 16.
16 is going to hit.
Okay, for 7 points of damage.
7 points of damage as you take this rat out of his miserable existence, leaving him crumpled on the floor in front of you. What else would you like to do?
At that point, he's just going to try to face the rest of the rats and kind of just ready himself. See if any.
There's
other
one left, and it's right in front of Flint.
Okay.
Nighttail sees what's going on. He looks behind him. He sees Stubby drop the candle. He sees Warren save that little dude's cheese. He looks towards Sirkin, sees him dispatching one of the rats, and moves forward to help Flint with the other rat, which takes him out of his power stance and misses. Flint, you fucked up his mojo. Stubby, what would you like to do? Drop another candle? Light it back up. I
bigger
light it back
candle.
up as a free action.
I'm just gonna make another con save where I'm at. Try to get out of this
Okay.
funk that I'm in. Fuck. It's gonna be a 9.
9. That's my answer. Sorry, my friend. Warren.
I mean, there's just one rat that's still up, right?
Yeah. It's got 3 boys on him too, so.
I mean, I'm gonna shoot like right between like Flint's legs with an Eldritch Blast.
Oh. Oh shit.
Hopefully not aim too high.
Hopefully he's not hung too low.
That is a 24 to hit.
That's going to hit.
Oh my god, this poor rat. This rat takes 13 points of force damage and
Oh,
another 2
fuck.
points of fire damage.
You see him just,
Like I just imagine like Flint's
say fire
just,
damage?
Like, 2 points of fire damage. So there's roast rat on the floor.
so is he
Yeah.
on fire?
The rat, not specifically. It's not an effect that
Oh, okay. I just want
creates
to.
fire.
Okay, I just want to see if we're gonna have to do this again.
It's more like a
Yeah.
friction burn.
Right, exactly. I just have this like mental image of like Flint standing over this rat, ready to like drop his mace down on it, and just like between his legs, there's just like this force bolt that just like splatters the rat in this spread away from him on the floor.
So as you guys exit out of combat, Warren, you're next to Stubby, who's just basically lost lunch, breakfast, last night's dinner, the beer
He's a
that you guys
halfling
had.
second breakfast too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
second breakfast. the beer he had shared at that tavern so many hours ago. Sirkin, you look good at having dispatched your rat. Flint, everybody's doing all right at this point, except for Stubby. What would you like to
I
do?
will like go over to Stabby and pat him on the back until
Give
he
him,
finally
give him
makes his
some like charcoal, help us soothe his belly.
right.
Maybe
When
fuck it up.
once Stabby finally gets himself together, then we should like probably move on.
Yeah, he eventually comes around. Given enough times, taking 20, he would eventually start exhaling all this stuff out of his little teabag lungs and feel much better. Now you know that you guys have you have one exit out of this place. It is in the southwestern portion of the room.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Heading over.
get out of here.
As you leave this area, you see that the cavern goes for about 25 feet. And then it looks like a giant cave-in right in front of you. But there's a passageway to the north. Another 5-foot wide cavern. It's like there was a Y. Why, I don't know. But there was a Y. You could go to the north, or you could have gone to the west, but there was a cave-in the west, which prevents any further progress that way.
So we could only go to the north.
And you could only go to the north.
To the north we go.
Yeah. Before entering the mouth of this other entrance, I'm going to try to walk Stubby as close to the line where he feels comfortable that he could see. And then be like, do me a favor. See if there's any traps before we enter further.
I'm like, it's popping. I'll roll an investigation check for any traps at the entrance to this.
Please.
4.
4.
Jeez.
You're fairly confident that all is clear and that you guys should go forward at double the speed.
Flint will take the moment and cross forward. Keep going forward.
So you then switch places with Stubby, right?
Yeah.
Moving
so
yourself to the front. Okay.
I took his word that everything's clear. He seemed to say it with confidence.
And
it's good.
That's actually pretty good because he, A, he can't see, and B, you're a dwarf. So as you start moving along, you notice that the tunnel starts curving towards the northwest and then angles directly due north. And at this point, you can see the tunnel goes straight forward. It goes forward for about 20 feet, and then it opens into a large room. But until you get to that point, you can't see how wide the room is. I'm just describing as you walk and you turn to the right, which is to the north. You see that it goes for about 10 feet, and then it just opens.
Okay. Flint will stop there. And can you make a perception check for, I don't know, anything, any noises, running water, anything you might normally find in a cave?
Sure.
That was horrible. 8. I don't know if you would want to include
You're fairly
stone
confident.
cutting.
Oh. Describe for me how you want to use stone cutting in this investigation
knowing
check.
if the foundation is good in this room due to all the collapsed rooms and tunnels that we've been blocked off from. Also, if there's any kind of like airflow through this tunnel, like some kind of like backdraft prevention type.
Okay, go ahead and make it with the advantage then. Reroll.
All right. That is a 14.
14. You don't hear any rumblings like a cave-in. You don't sense any air movement. You don't hear any water dripping. You don't hear any rocks falling. It actually seems pretty quiet, pretty still.
he'll look back at everyone. It's a little too quiet for my liking. Warren, would you be able to see anything?
Well,
Pass.
let me see. I'll step forward so that I'm immediately behind Flint and look out over him and see how far I can see.
Yeah.
So as you take a peek around him, you see the same thing I described to Flint. You see that he's got about 10 feet of a hallway before it opens onto a large room. Go ahead and make a perception check from where you are, Warren. You could do so as well if you'd like, Flint.
Not terrible. That's a 15.
15. You see from where you are, and it's probably like maybe 60 feet away from the entrance to this room, something dangling from the ceiling to the floor.
Okay. Like a rope?
It's hard to tell from this distance.
Okay. I'll
It
kind of
doesn't
point to
look
it.
very thick, so it's possible. It could be a rope. It could be a snake. It could be a tentacle.
A snake.
A snake.
I will point it out to Flint just to see if he can't.
What's the ceiling height on this? Sorry, I don't know if you said it or not.
I didn't say because you can't tell from this distance. You don't have a sense of what's that called? You don't. There's nothing in there to give you a sense of to gauge the. What am I looking for?
Scale.
Scale. You got
Yeah.
nothing to scale it to. I know there's such a
I
large.
normally call it as I don't know what
word.
side's up. You don't even know what side's up.
So this is the only direction we can go then, right?
This is it. Yes.
Okay.
From what you can tell.
Okay. I just make mention of whatever's hanging there and just look to the others for input. It looks like a large room. Does there seem to be much cover in the room?
No, it doesn't. Seems pretty plain. You just see like from where you are, 10 feet back still, mind you. You just see part of the room and then something dangling way off in the distance, about, like I said, about 60 feet away.
Okay. Let's be cautious and move in.
As you move in to the entrance of the room, are you leading the pack now, Warren? Or who's leading my pack here?
Here's the thing. If we're trying to go quietly, I don't think Flint would be the best case to be up in the front just because he is pretty loud. If we're not trying to go stealth, we'll just move up to 10 feet and we could take a look from there. And we can see if we can get a better look.
Stubby, where you at in all this?
I'll run second behind Flint.
Okay. I'll run third unless Sirkin is interested in that.
No. Circle will stay in the back.
Okay,
You guys can
Flint,
go first.
Flint, as you move to the entrance of this room, sorry, you notice that there's a path that leads directly down the center of this room. The room itself is probably about 50 feet wide, maybe 60 feet wide, goes 60 feet long. And there's a path that runs down the center. It's maybe 7 feet wide, and then it drops down on either side into pits on both sides. And the path leads to whatever is dangling down from the ceiling down to the floor.
What does the outside of the paths show? Is it just...
It drops down to
Okay.
like gullies on both sides of this path. It's almost like a giant ridge in the middle of this room. And
This isn't ominous.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll turn back and... Who's
turn
behind
back and
me at
go
this-
home.
Yeah. Is it Stubby or Warden that's behind me?
Stubby.
Stubby? Oh, shoot. He's and he's blind
What an
too.
insult.
Oh man, he's blind. Can he see in this?
Yeah, it's a little bit brighter than low light.
All right. I'll be like, Stubby, careful and watch your steps. Seems like we're on a ridge on this trail to continue forward. And how far from the center is it? In the center of the room that you said that thing's dangling down? Like, what's the distance?
It's about 60 feet away from you, but it's directly in front of you. And this path it's not narrow. It's like 7 feet wide.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Yeah, but it, on either side of the path, it dangles, drops down into these gullies, these pits with jagged shit all on the bottom of them.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'll move up 30 feet and re-examine the area.
Okay. So you turn around, see your gang behind you standing at the entrance, like, what's he doing? Is he gonna fucking make it? You just see that the whole cavern is pretty jagged and everything. But from this distance, as you looking around, you can see that it is indeed a rope that's dangling from the ceiling down, and not just ending at the floor, but going into the floor.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, it's not a monster. Sebi, we're all right.
For now.
It seems to be just a rope. Can I throw a rock down the tunnel and see how far the distance is? Making as like a guess of how far that rope goes down.
Not from 30 feet. That'd be like you playing golf. You're going to try to from 30 feet to throw a
Oh,
rock.
okay. Yeah. Never mind. Sorry. I'll move up closer, knowing
Okay.
that it's a rope now.
Okay, so you go the full distance. You look down. You see there's a
Yeah.
7-foot hole that's in front of you that dangles down.
And we can't see down how far it goes.
I'm actually, I had to check something real quick. As you look down, you could see that it is 30 feet down. It's like it goes down to another level below the level you're already on.
Is this the third level that we've gone down?
You start on the first.
We dropped
You
down
start
one.
on 0. You're on sub level 1. Now you're going to go. This would be sub level 2 that goes down.
Okay, sub level 2. Okay, because I knew we dropped a few times.
Yep.
Yeah, but you always made the death save.
And we have that one.
Not the truth. Well, only one thing to do now.
You're right. Find out what happens next session.
Drop down.
Hiya!
All right,
Hey.
Sebi. You know the drill. Hop on.
Hop on.